Oh, here we go, here we go. Okay, this tutorial is on Seafarers Oceania scenario. And for you, the viewer, that is trying to learn how to play Seafarers Oceania scenario, it is assumed that you already know how to play Base Catan. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and place my placements first, and then we will go over all the extra rules you need to know for Seafarers, and specifically for this scenario. So for my first placement, I am looking at, there's only 2 wheat hexes on the board, so I think we're going to want to touch on one of those. I might just go 5, 6, 9 and then go down the wheat port. And then all we need on the way back is sheep and wood, and of course some bricks. So I suspect 8, 5, 9, 10 and 4, 8, 10 will be taken, but we will deal with that when we get there. So I think that's going to be 5, 6, 9 for me. Go down to Wheatport. Now on the Seafarers Oceania scenario with 3 players, we're going to go to 12 victory points. And keep in mind, you will have a 90-second round timer for playing on Catan Universe, and you don't want to let your timer run out, especially if you let it run out 3 times, then you will be kicked from the match. But basically, in this scenario, you have 2 separate starting islands. You are free to build on a settlement on one on each island, or you could build both your settlements on one of the 2 islands. Then you also have some Oceania fog hexes in the middle of the board. These you will have to discover them by building ships. Now, if you've been playing Base Catan, ships will be super easy to you because roads simply cost a wood and a brick, hence our building cost card, and then ships are simply a wood and a sheep instead of a wood and a brick. So very easy to follow that. However, roads, of course you build them off your settlements, and then you build them to whatever port or whatever other resource hex that you would like to achieve and build upon. Ships, however, you have to have a settlement on the coastline, any hex that is also touching a water hex. And only then can you build a ship off of said settlement into the water. So for example, you can see that Pink built a coastal settlement on the 5 sheep, 8 sheep, and then they built their ship off of it, and one more ship in this area right here, this water area right here, will allow them to discover this fog hex. And if it is a resource hex, they will get one of that resource just for discovering it, and then they can then build on that spot with a settlement, of course observing the 2 spots away from any other settlement or city rule, just like in Base Catan. Okay, so now I'm going to place my second placement, and I'm actually super surprised that the 4, 8, 10 did not get taken. So I'm going to go ahead and take that, because again, just like in Base Catan, you want to cover your diversity of resources and diversity of numbers if you can also do that. So by building on 4, 8, 10, I will gain the sheep, brick, and wood resources, and I already have the wheat and ore resources, and then I am free to go to either 3 for 1 port. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to this 4 brick, 3 sheep, 3 for 1 port, because that'll get me closer to these fog hexes down here, and I'm not contested for those at all, because red is on all wood and they didn't build on the wood port, which is interesting. They're going for the sheep port, but I am free to, and I actually start out with a road, because just like in Base Catan, if you can start out with a wooden brick in hand, then you are free to build a road basically right away. So I'm going to go ahead and be the villain, and I'm going to shut down their 6 wood, and I get a feeling that red, if they built there secondly, have a wood for me, and they do. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and build this road and jump on Yeah, I'm going to get on this 3 for 1 port pretty much ASAP. Yeah, we're going to do that. And I'm going to pass. So if I can get a brick and a wheat, then I will build on the 3 for 1 port, and then I will have a coastline settlement. And from there, I can build 1, 2, 3 ships down to this Oceania fog hex. And then I can discover it. Now, here's the thing. If it's not a resource hex, and if it is a water hex instead, I get absolutely nothing in this specific Seafarers scenario. There's other Seafarers scenarios that we'll get into in other videos where if you discover water, you still may have the opportunity to still get something of value. Okay, there's a 12. The robber starts out on the 12 in the Oceania scenario. I moved it when a 7 got rolled. And so therefore, that is why red got a lucky wood. I'm going to try to get a brick out of red. I think they already spent it for their road up to the ore port. But a guy can still offer. Should try to get this quick settlement here on the 3 for 1 port. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to wait for a 4. Okay, nothing going for it. I'm just going to pass for now. Now, the other thing to note in the Oceania scenario, for example, we have pink here. They discovered the 3 wheat. They got a wheat for discovering it. When they build their settlement on the 3 wheat, if they do, they will get just 1 victory point for the settlement. In the Seafarers Oceania scenario we're playing, you do not get special victory points for building on a new island. In other Seafarers scenarios, you do get special victory points for building on a new island, your first settlement on a new island. But it's actually good that we started with this scenario because we can get into that slightly added complexity, which opens up different strategic moves in those other Seafarer scenarios where you can gain additional victory points for building on a new island. But that is not the case on the Oceania scenario. So you can discover any resource or water in these Oceania fog hexes, and additionally there is gold. So if you're just coming from base Catan, you probably don't know what gold is, or maybe someone told you about it, maybe they whispered it to you, or maybe when you set up a base Catan board with your friends like I did for in-person gameplay, we'll throw a gold hex on the board for a base Catan match because that's how we like to roll. There is a 6, I'll grab an ore. So I could buy a development card if I want, but I am still looking for the settlement play here. 3, almost a 4, but a 3. So, for those of you that don't know about the gold hex, it will be discovered at some point in this match, in this Oceania scenario here. It is under 1 of the fog hexes, and I believe there's actually 2 gold hexes in the Oceania scenario. So when you discover a gold, you will get 1 resource of your choice. Let me just make that clear. How awesome that is. Yes, you heard me right. You will get 1 resource of your choice, and it is pretty great. Additionally, if you build a settlement on a gold hex, anytime that number gets rolled, you'll be prompted by whichever platform you're playing Catan on to select 1 resource of your choice. Now keep in mind, if you build on a gold hex and let's say it's a 6 gold or an 8 gold, chances are when another player rolls the robber, they are going to shut that space down because they really do. None of the other players really want you having an open gold hex that you are built on to roll, because obviously that is very, very good. So I was lucky to get the brick trade from red, so I'll go ahead and build the settlement. And now I'll pass. So now I have gained a 3 for 1 port. That is certain to come in handy later. I'm a little bit more powerful than the other players right now, so I may be getting shut down if a 7 gets rolled. My 4 brick would probably be a prime spot for it because I will now get 2 brick off of a 4 roll. However, if I could get a couple 6s and a 5 or a 9, I will be ready to city up. And I think I would actually like to city up on 5, 6, 9 first, because then future 5, 6s, and 9s will give me double production and will allow me to build my second city that much faster. Okay, so an 8 gives me a sheep. And back to me. I will roll another 3. Okay, so the 3 for 1 port could be coming in handy here. So I could build some ships now, but here's the thing. Again, for those of you coming from base Catan, only the robber is the only thing in base Catan that can shut down resources. In Seafarers, the pirate ship shuts down a hex of water. And if you have any ships built in that hex of water, you will get a card stolen from you, and you will no longer be able to move those ships or build any ships in that hex of water. More on that later, as I decide whether to buy a development card or save for the city. I think I'm going to save for the city. We'll see if that was the right move or not. Okay, there's a 9. So it actually could end up being the very, very right move, as red does get on to the ore port. We're going to have to watch out for that. But if I can just get one more 6, I can port my 3 sheep for the 3rd ore that I need as the 6 gets rolled, and then I can build the city that I have been looking to build. So pink buys a development card to end their turn, but they do build the ship to discover the 4 wood. And okay, there's the 7. So I am definitely going to... Pink is doing a lot of exploration. However, red did just get the ore port. I think I'm going to go ahead and shut Pink's area down with the pirate ship. That way, the robber stays on the 6 wood. And I think that's going to be best. I could buy 2 development cards, but I'm going to go ahead and port the sheep, like I said, for the 3rd ore. I'll build the city. And then hopefully I can build that second city fairly quickly. And I would like to do that on the 4, 8, 10 spot. Because once I do that, rolls of 8 and rolls of 10 will start netting me more ship production. And I just got a sheep there, so I can actually build a ship on my next turn. We're going to see if pink does play their development card. Of course, if it's a victory point, they cannot reveal it till the end of the game, if that's going to be their part of their winning points. Okay, now it's back to me. Okay, there's another 7. So, again, I think I absolutely prefer the robber to stay on the 6 wood because it shuts down pink and red's primary source of wood production. And I will instead... just move the pirate ship once again. I'll grab another sheep. I'm tempted to start building ships right here. 1, 2, 3 ships to get down here, which will give me longish road. It will absolutely paint a target on my back. I will go ahead. No, I'm still in save for city mode, or I'll even buy development cards. So I'm just gonna wait it out. There goes a 6. Okay, that's double ore. I'm glad I waited because now I can port that sheep once again for the ore or the wheat that I need. Because now I really just need a 5 or a 9 to give me the 2 wheat I need for the city. Okay, there's a 7. Okay, now I have a feeling I'm getting shut down here. Okay, so they do shut down the 10. That's actually not too bad. If I get a 5 or 9, I could actually buy 2 development cards. Okay, there goes a 9. Okay, I'm highly tempted to buy the 2 development cards. I'm gonna see if I could get 1 sheep from somebody, because I don't suspect there's any ore out there. If I could get the 1 sheep, I'll go ahead and build the city. We have a counter offer. They also want a brick. I'll offer a ship for an ore, or the materials to build a ship. However, I don't think that's out there. Let me try one more time. I think he still wants the brick as well for the sheep, but I'll give it a shot. Because if he did not steal that sheep from me, if he stole the wood instead, I would have built the city on my own by porting the 3 sheep for the 3rd ore that I needed. Okay, he just straight up says no. I'm going to go ahead and buy a development card. That's a knight. And I'll pass with that, because I'm still in a good position for a couple more rolls to get that city. There's a 4. Okay, we'll actually get double brick here. And now we have a little bit of a... Okay, 10 was shut down, but we do have a... Actually, that 10 being shut down, that would have been the exact 1 more wood I needed to road settle. And I could have gone ahead and road settled on the wheat port. So... I think I'm going to go ahead... I'm going to roll the dice first. Okay, that's an 8. I can't quite get the city that I need, nor the road settlement. If I look back at the game log, there doesn't seem to be any wood recently, because that 10 was shut down. So that... Okay, so there's an ore out there. Yeah, I think it's going to be wise to build the road towards the wheat port. And then I'm going to wait. I'll wait to use the knights, because I'm still leaning towards building the city. And of course, for anybody viewing this on the playback or on YouTube, please drop your comments, your questions down below so that I can answer them. If you have any questions as you're learning and watching along to, learning how to play Seafarers Oceania scenario. Okay, so the 8s are really cranking now. It's back to my turn. I know that red has 2 ore at least in hand, so this could be something. I have 7 cards. I'm going to wait to play knight until after I roll, because I don't want to go up to 8 cards and then potentially have to burn half my cards. Okay, there's another 8 that gets rolled. Red actually has 3 ore in hand, so I'm thinking about using this knight to at least steal 1 of them. It won't quite give me the city, however, it will let me hold on to 2 ore for the moment. And I think I like the robber. I'm going to use the knight. I think I like the robber back on the 6 wood. And I will steal from red. I will pull the brick. I was hoping to pull an ore, because they also have the ore port. If I could, pull that ore away from them, I would do that. I'm going to go ahead and port the sheep for the wood, sorry. And now I have gained the wheat port. I'm going to go ahead and pass with that. So now I'm in a much better position. And the 10 gets rolled. I'm glad I pulled the robber off the 10 with my knight. And I think I'm ready to start building a couple ships. I'm still looking out for that city. If I can get a 6 and then a 5 or a 9, I will absolutely build a city on the 4-8-10. There goes another 7 by pink. I suspect they'll shut me down again. Oh, they're actually going to move the pirate ship preemptively. So when the pirate ship gets placed in a hex where you don't have any ships built, you do not get stolen from. However, because red just built their settlement on that sheepport spot, they can no longer build ships off of that settlement in either direction because the pirate ship is blocking, shutting down that whole water hex. So red is going to have to either roll a 7 or buy a knight from the development card stack and then play it on a future turn to get that pirate ship out of there. Okay, there is yet another 8. These 8s are frankly really good. Next, like I said, I still want to build that city, but I'm just waiting on my 5s, 6s, and 9s to roll in. So I think I will go ahead. 3 ships is going to be a lot. I could also go to the 5-11 spot for more production there. Also keep in mind, pink discovered a gold. It's only a 3 gold, so that is a pretty weak spot. And in just Seafarers expansion, there's no way to swap numbers. That only comes with cities and knights. Red's telling me to hurry up, so I will... Yeah, I think actually right now I'm going to go to the 5-11 spot and gain even more wheat for my wheat port that I haven't had to use yet, but I suspect later in the game that will come in handy. And I could even see myself building a city on the 5-11 spot. The 3 gold strikes for pink, they do take a wheat from the 3 gold because, of course, when you're built on a gold hex and that number gets rolled, you get 1 of any of the 5 resources of your choice. If you have a city on a gold hex, you will get 2 resources of your choice, and they can be different resources from that gold hex if you have a city on it. Okay, so I got the 6. However, I have no wheat, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to port the sheep for the wheat. Could element card. I think I'm going to hold off. I'm going to wait because no one has knight 16. No one has element card in hand, so I'm just going to go ahead and wait. If I get this city up, then I can worry about buying some development cards later. Yeah, I should have bought the development card when I had the chance, and they will steal from me. They did not shut down the 6 ore, nor 9 wheat, nor the 5 wheat. Those are my big production spots currently. And pink has indirectly helped me because by putting the pirate ship right in red's area on this settlement off the sheepport, that kind of stalls red from really building any ships to these remaining fog hexes that I'm also planning on getting to from my 3-for-1 settlement spots. And again, if you want to build ships in Seafarers, you must have your settlement on a coastal placement. It must be touching at least 1 water hex. Okay, there is a random 12 there. So I could build the ship, but again, I'm going to wait for the city. I have a good feeling once I get the city, we'll be really rocking and rolling. Okay, there's a big 9 that I've been waiting for. It also gives red 2 brick. Let's see, red honestly doesn't really need brick right now. I think I'm keen on taking this trade because I'm already at 8 cards. I will accept their ore for my wheat, and now I have a city in hand. However, it's not guaranteed because if pink or myself rolls a 7, I will have to burn half my cards. A city is going to cost 5 resources. I'll have to get rid of 4, so I'll only be left with 4 resources. So I did actually help red build a road and a settlement, but with the other 9, I have secured my city. Even if I roll a 7, which I hope I don't, of course, if I actually roll a 6, I could almost build 2 cities here. And of course I rolled a 7, jinxed it. Don't talk out loud like that, because you might just jinx it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and burn. I might also, if I can save up for a development card after this. Well, it's only going to be, I'm actually going to hold the wood, burn the sheep. Okay, next I'm going to move the robber off of my 8 sheep. And because red is getting more powerful, I'm going to shut down their ore spot directly. Just go ahead and do that. Even though pink does have the longest road, I'm more worried about red at this given moment. So I will steal a brick from them, which I'm happy about. I will upgrade the 8410 to a city like I said I would. I will additionally build a road to the 511 spot. Because when you play this scenario, Oceania scenario, because you don't get any extra victory points for building on the Oceania fog hexes in the middle, sometimes it's better, in my case I would argue, to just build on some good spots that are closer on the starting islands. That's why I'm going to this 5 wheat 11 sheep spot, because it's a great spot. I have the wheat port. I can build on it, get more wheat, and then port it out later as I need. And then it's also a good jumping off point from the 511 because it's a coastal settlement placement. I can build ships off of it and go touch on this 5 ore later on if I so desire. Okay, so at this point I can actually build yet another city. And I'm thinking I'm gonna go ahead and do that because more production is always good. I could go for the 9 and I could get 4 wheat coming in, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and go for the 4-3 so I can double up on sheep and quadruple up on brick. Because if I double up on sheep and then I get wood to get rolled, that's 2 ships right there. If I combo the 3 and the 10 or the 8 and the 10. And there goes the 10. Okay, so that's 2 wood. If I get an 8, I will now start to build some ships. I have pretty much secured the 511 spot. It's not going to be taken so easily unless someone, like for example red, is able to get some 9s and some 6s and then build like 1, 2, 3, 4 roads and take that spot. Or of course, as you know, if someone builds on this 11 spot, the 511 will no longer be eligible to be built on. And there is an 8. We love it. We could actually build the settlement here if we would like. And again, let's just keep setting up our production. We have the wheat port that's glorious, so it's 2 wheat for the brick instead of having a 3 for 1. So I will settle on the 511, and actually I might even cast off with a ship right now. I was so keen on building off of the 3 for 1 port spot with ships, but that would take me 3 ships to get to a fog hex. Why not build just 2 ships to get to the 5 ore, and then if I can discover this hex right next to the 5 ore, because I am able to do so right now because the pirate ship is just a little too far away to hinder me from building ships on this water hex. I can build on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 6 sides of this water hex right here. I cannot build on the 6th side that is touching the pirate ship occupied next door adjacent water hex. But I am free to build 2 ships here, and actually pink beat me to it. They do discover a water hex there. Okay, that's fine by me. I will roll a great 9. I now have 7 wheat in hand. So now what I'm going to do is I could actually change whenever you build a ship, it's not set in stone unless you build another ship in a settlement. Then those 2 ships are locked in between the 2 settlements you built, or however many ships you built in between 2 settlements. I can actually move this ship. You can move 1 ship per turn. You only get to move 1 ship per turn. You can't just move each individual ship to a different spot on the same turn. It's 1 ship per turn movement, and that's it. So I'm actually going to go ahead and move it to this other side of the 5, the other side of my settlement. And then from there, I'll go ahead and port 4 wheat for a sheep and a wood. I'll build another ship, and I'm going to wait till my next turn, and hopefully I'll have more resources to build the final ship I need to touch this fog hex up top, above the 5 wheat, and I will discover that, and I will hopefully discover a resource and get one of that resource. We're still looking for that second gold hex. We're hoping it's a better number than a 3 gold. As an 8 gets rolled, I now have 2 wood and 2 sheep in hand. I can build 2 ships with that. Also, by discovering all these fog hexes, in most Seafarer scenarios, you kind of inevitably end up competing for longest road. However, if you want to get technical, in Seafarers, it's not called longest road, it's actually called the longest shipping route, if you want to get technical. But we're just splitting hairs at that point. I'm going to build another ship, and we discover an 11 sheep. So we get 1 sheep. It's not the best, but I'll go ahead and port 2 wheat. Actually, I'm not going to port yet. Let's build this extra ship and see what happens. It's a 12 wheat, so that's not very good at all. So I'm actually going to elect not to build on that spot. However, actually, it might actually be a good idea to do so, because if I build on this 11-12, I can then, by placing a settlement there, I have my next choice. Off of the 12 here, I could build a road or a ship, or I could go inland with the road and discover that fog hex. So I'm actually thinking I'm going to do that. So I'll port 4 wheat for a wood and a brick. I'll build on 11-12, which is, I usually don't recommend, but I'm doing very well in this game. I think I'm going to win this game already, and I will tie for longest road. I was going to pause, and then for the next 4 turns, move each of these 4 ships over to my 3-for-1 port spot, and then discover these hexes, but at this point, I don't really need to do that. At this point, I can get longest road for 11, and then upgrade one of my settlements to a city for 12, and win the game, because of course going to 12 victory points in this scenario. The other thing I'll tell you, so like I said earlier, I have these 4 ships. They're between 2 settlements now. So now those ships are locked in. I can no longer move them. You can only move open ships. And again, you can only move 1 open ship per turn. And you can't have just built it. You have to wait a turn in order to move it. So because I have built this settlement on the 11-12, in this spot here, you see I have the option. If I had the brick, I could build either a ship or a road, because you're starting off a new segment of your longest shipping route. But I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm going to port, we'll do 3 sheep for a brick. Yeah, let's do that. And then I'm going to build a road off the settlement. I'm going to go inland to discover this last hex. It'll actually give me the longest road, and I discover the final gold spots. And I think I'm going to build an additional road to build on this 3-9-11 spot at my next convenience, because I have 2 settlements left to play. I already have 3 on the board. You can have a maximum of 5 settlements on the board in this scenario. Well, actually, every scenario. There is certain scenarios where you can build more than 4 cities, but we'll not get into the scope of this video. There's an 8, so we're very, very close now. I will get shut down on the 5 wheat. They finally started shutting down my high production spots. The 5, the 6, and the 9 are 3 of my best spots for production. The 4 is also very good. So Pink is trying to build on this 3-9 spot, which will not allow me to build on the 3-9-11 spot. But I get another 8, and that is going to secure my victory. Okay, so we had 4 hexes that did not get discovered in this Seafarers Oceania scenario. Now, you may not discover every hex in a Seafarers scenario, and that's okay. As long as you get the victory, that is what is the end goal ultimately. So I'm going to port my 3 sheep from my 3-for-1 port. I'll port 2 wheat at my wheat port. I'll grab a wood and a brick, and I will throw down a settlement to win the game on this Seafarers Oceania scenario with 3 players, going to 12 victory points. The runner-up was red with 6, and last place was pink with 3. So there you all have it. Thank you for watching this tutorial on how to play Seafarers Oceania scenario. Now, stay tuned because there will be more tutorials on the other Seafarers scenarios, and we will go from there. So you can drop this gameplay will get posted to YouTube. You can drop a comment on the video on my YouTube channel, Unorthodox Master of Games. You can see the spelling for that here on Twitch, and there's a link to my YouTube channel in my Twitch profile, and that's where you can find this gameplay, this tutorial. Thank you for watching, and go out there and win yourself some Seafarers games, either in person or on Catan Universe or on Colonist or on, we're getting it to Catan Console Edition if it's not already out yet. That is all. Hopefully I just cover the scope of this specific Oceania scenario. Of course, when you add in 4 players instead of 3 players on certain Seafarer scenarios, the victory point total that you need to win does change slightly, so do keep that in mind. And then if you play 5 to 6 player of any expansion, you add in the special building phase, and there is some more complexity there. So I will leave you with that, and once again, thank you for watching. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next tutorial.